Remember when you were a kid and you would go to a family member's house and in their living room they had the good chair, and the good chair represented the best of their household? Well, now I'm offering the good chair in my house, and I'm going to offer it to your favorite content creators so we can slow down from a minute of content creation in the world that is ever speeding forward. And we're going to find out what it is they do and why they do it, what makes them love the content they create, and what their goals are and motivations. Welcome to the Good Chair. What's up, everybody? Bill Tendo back here with another episode of the Good Chair, where we interview creators and find out a little bit more about them, you know, what it is they do, why they do it, and what they plan on doing in the future. We do all different types of creators, and I'm really excited about Frankie today, the gaming mixologist, because he has he straddles the line on content creation. Is it gaming? A little bit. Is it something else? A little bit. But it's his own, as far as I know, it's a very niche area that only you're doing. Would that be accurate?
There's very few. I mean, my story kind of goes this: I've always been a gamer, and I worked as a bartender off and on for about 15 years now, and I just kind of molded the two. Because way back when, you know, I've always wanted to do some sort of content creation, whether it's YouTube, whatever. But I was never sure what to do. I mean, am I going to review video games or am I going to review movies? Like, to me, it was always like, what could I say that's unique and hasn't been said by a million other people out there? And I decided to just combine work with play instead. So video game inspired cocktails is kind of the biggest thing. Like I said, I do work as a bartender. I work in a town called Gloucester, Massachusetts, a place called the 1606 Restaurant and Oyster Bar. And yeah, I just started combining work with play, and it just kind of took on a little following. So it's been fun.
So how long ago did you begin making content?
So the idea kind of came at the very end of 2021, and I started officially, I think I made my first drink video on TikTok January of 2022. So it's been a little over 2 years now. I had started kind of like just playing around at work, trying to come up with like new cocktails for an upcoming drink menu. And I was working on one that was kind of a twist on a drink called a Pearl Harbor, which is basically vodka, melon liqueur, and pineapple juice. But I decided to do like a raspberry version. I used like a raspberry vodka and did it like a martini glass. And there was, I was going to use some raspberries as like a garnish, and I was going to put the raspberries on a little skewer, but I dropped a couple of them into the drink. And I'm looking at the raspberries kind of floating in this green drink, and I'm like, that kind of looks like a Metroid from, you know, the Metroid games. And I was like, huh, might be something there. And so that day I came up with like, you know, about 3 other like kind of like simpler cocktails inspired by video games. There was the Metroid Martini. There was, I made a Moscow Mule with a Japanese whiskey that I called the Miyamoto Mule, named after Shigeru Miyamoto.
Right.
And there was 1 or 2 other ones I came up with that day. And that's just like, oh, there might be something here. So I try to keep it more nowadays. Like in the early days, there was a lot of like, you know, some video game strictly content. And then there was like a video game inspired cocktail. Nowadays, I try to keep it like, try to have both at the same time, where there is an aspect to bartending, mixology, whatever you want to call it, with the gaming as well. So, I mean, when I first started, I would do like a video game inspired cocktail. I would put like I would do like an old, like I remember Nintendo Power back in the day. They had these little like tricks for like, you know, the older game. Like, you know, here's how to start the second quest on The Legend of Zelda from the beginning, or here's this trick in, you know, Double Dragon or whatever. So I do little stuff like that just to have some content out there and try to build the following.
Yeah. Of course, you remember Nintendo Power. Look, for a nerd like me, growing up, we had 3 main magazines, right? 4 actually, that we read every single month.
Oh, yeah.
Playboy.
I was thinking game related. I'm thinking just say
no, it's true.
No, you're right.
But I said nerdy. So as a teenager, it was Playboy, It was Nintendo Power. It was heavy metal. And at the time, we also had Wizard magazine, all about comic books.
Yes.
So those were like the four for a big time nerd like myself. You know,
I thought you were going to say Nintendo Power, Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Pro, but we went right to Playboy.
Teenage boy. I mean,
you're right. No, you're right. I agree with you.
Like I admit all of my shame. I don't care. So what I don't think we just state it out loud and obvious, because the purpose of this series that I do is it's both a get to know your favorite creator type thing, and it's also get to know a creator you may not be familiar with. So for people that's not familiar with you, your content is primarily based on video game inspired drinks.
Correct.
And we didn't just out and out say that. So up until this point, people that may not be familiar with your content has just had to kind of piece it together. So I just wanted to say it out loud and wrap that up. I should have said that early on. But so you've got quite a follower base on YouTube, and you said you've only been at it for a few years. Did it start off slow or did it hit?
So YouTube, not so much. I do have a YouTube channel, but I honestly have not put a lot of time into YouTube. So So Instagram's the big one.
Instagram. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. No worries. Yeah, I have about Instagram's where I got my biggest following. I started on TikTok, and I didn't start a YouTube channel until I changed the name from Fanboy Frankie, which is when I started, to the Gaming Mixologist. I wanted to just kind of just lock down the name to make sure I had. So I bought the domain name, thegamingmixologist.com. My friend Andrew Lavola is working on my website. He's done a great job with it so far. Can't wait till it officially kind of launches. I got youtube.com/@thegamingmixologist. Changed the name on Instagram, on TikTok, and all that. So, but yeah, Instagram is where it really kind of took off, and it's been a few different videos that have taken off, and they weren't necessarily video game inspired drinks, just other drinks that I had posted. So, right now on Instagram, I have one video where I did this like strongest like bar drinks series. I did 4 different Long Island iced tea drinks, and for some reason that just caught fire. It has over 16 million views. I don't know how that happened, but
it's an unexplainable thing, and I discuss this all the time with content creators. We never know what the thing is going to be. We make things that we enjoy, and we've all made things like I've done several pages on Instagram that have gone over 20,000, but it was meme pages. And so like you make a piece of content that you really love, and sometimes it gets nothing back, and then you post the stupidest thing you've ever posted and you're getting 1 million views on it. And we can't, as a content creator, you can't really guess which one it's going to be. You don't know what's going to strike a chord with people.
You don't. I mean, and the thing with things like Instagram and TikTok, and even YouTube's doing this now, the YouTube Shorts, is that you've got to get that hook, meaning you've got to hook somebody to watch the rest of your video, and you've only got it a maximum 4 or 5 seconds. If you can't hook somebody in that 4 or 5 seconds, they're just going to scroll on to the next thing, because there's billions and billions of videos on all these sites: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere, Facebook even.
Absolutely.
X, all this stuff, they'll just keep scrolling. So, and I try to get some sort of a hook right in, but other times when you look at your metrics afterwards of like how people are, they'll have a 35-second video. It's okay, it's pretty precise, to the point, but you look at the average watch time and it might be 6 seconds, and I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong here? And I'll analyze the shit out of it and just be like, okay, most people stopped watching here. Why?
Right.
Was it not their cup of tea, or was it something I did? And you don't get that answer, and that can kind of really affect you mentally. Like I said, the video that's got 16 million views, I have overanalyzed that video to death to be like, okay, why did this take off? What's the hook here? How did I keep people engaged? Because the average watch time on that is pretty good. I think it's like it's a 46 47 or 48-second video, and the average watch time is about 26 seconds. I'm like, okay, so it's, a little more than half. What did I do to kind of get that to that point? And the likes and comments and the share stuff, that does help. But at the end of the day, as much as an algorithm might change, it still seems to me that watch time is what is the biggest metric of the algorithm that gets your video to more people. And yeah, like you said, I've done some really videos that I put literally no time into, and all of a sudden I'm like there's I'll let people go to my Instagram and whatnot and see this one. It's a video of I'll just call it the gas tank video, where I was at the gas pump and I got this really stupid idea, decided to film it. It's a 7-second video, and that video has over 2 million views. And I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
Oh, I've made, I get it. I've made videos on Instagram that I thought were, this is a banger, and I've made videos on TikTok where I put so much time and effort into it. And I'm like, this is so funny. People are really going to love it. And then you hit that 200-300 jail, and it doesn't go past that. And then I get in my son's car one day, and he's got like a credit card holder next to his shifter. And I was going to drive his car to the store because I was blocked in. And he had a credit card in there. And in the second slot, I pulled it out and I filmed it. It was a Bright Eyes Blue Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh card. And I'm like, my son's 25. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is he going to get in a drive-by dueling or something? Like, what does he think's going to happen? And dude, that got 500,000 views in 2 days. And I'm like, I made some funny shit.
Yeah. And a lot of the drink videos, the drink videos are not just spur of the moment. Like, I have to, get my lighting right, do multiple takes of it. And sometimes, and also before that is the R&D aspect, the research and development. I want the drink, if I'm putting out a recipe for somebody, I want it to taste good.
Right.
Yes, I do post some drink videos as a joke. Like I recently did one that was called The Great Mighty Margarita, which is inspired by a Nintendo 64 character about a giant shit demon fighting a squirrel. And is that meant to be taken seriously? A prune juice margarita? No. But there are other ones that I do put a lot of time into. Like, okay, I want this to taste good. I'm very proud of this drink. It does look good. It's got a nice presentation or a nice flavor to it. So you tweak little things. Like, okay, it's too sweet. Let me cut the sweet aspect back a quarter ounce. Maybe I need to increase this to it, or it's too boozy, or it's not boozy enough, or there's another flavor I need here. It's just it's something missing, and you struggle with that. And then you put that video out, and it'll get. And I'm fortunate that on Instagram my videos do better than on any other platform I'm on. They might get a few thousand views, which is great. But then you have, like I said, something with the drive-by dueling card, or the stupid gas tank video that just gets all these views. It's like, why? And so it's a formula that I have tried to figure out, and what I think I finally kind of got it more figured out, something changes. Because I don't usually. It's one thing that's important I learned is to not always post at the top of your page like your most popular videos. So the gas tank video has over 2 million views. That's not the top of my page. I have the videos that I'm either the most proud of or the ones that kind of encapsulate what I do. So one I did a while back, because again, I am a bartender, I love gaming, is I made this thing called Restaurant Combat, where what that is I basically play different characters in a restaurant. So you got your bartender, you got your bar back, your server, your sommelier, you got your line cook. Basically, it's a character selection screen for Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or whatever. And I'm very proud of that video. It took a long time to put together, and my coworkers love it. They say it's very accurate. But that video, it wasn't a huge viral success. I think it's got about maybe like almost 30,000 views, which is great. But to me, a video like that you put a lot of time into, you want to get the residual. You want to get a good return on the time you invested. So,
right.
Because that's been, it's the reason why we do content creation. At the end of the day, we want to be able to get paid for something we love doing.
Oh,
and for me, with it started as a creative outlet, and the goal was to ultimately, be able to have some sort of income with it. And I'm not looking to, be, some multi-millionaire or whatnot, but as long as I have something my income, I'm happy. So,
almost everybody I've talked to, and my opinion is pretty much the same. I think at this point, like everyone I know, for the most part, no one's looking to get rich, but everyone would like to monetize to the point where the content pays for itself, because it costs money to make content, especially with your content where you have to keep trying different alcohols. Every glass costs something.
Oh yeah,
And-
my liquor cabinet is overflowing. I've got, I mean, I'm in my kind of bar setup here, and I've got, see, it's probably like, it's probably 12 bottles different liquors right here, plus some stuff that I got as promos, and then I got a whole other room in the back that's got all this other booze there. And again, that's just, I mean, I've gotten some stuff as donations, like I've done some work for a Privateer Distillery. They're a rum distillery based out of Ipswich, Mass. They've been very good to me. I've done some other stuff for Velo Vodka. They're based out of South Boston, but most of it I've got to pay for. So, and that's just, that takes time. Plus, like any other, I got to take the time to make like, syrups. Like I have, I'm making like a cinnamon syrup or, a lavender syrup, which I'm using to drink. It's like that stuff takes time.
Right.
If I'm doing an infusion, that takes time too. And so, and again, my goal when I first started was if I can make a few $100 a month at this, I'm happy.
Right.
And I'm happy to say that starting in 2024, I reached that goal. So
nice.
That's good. I'm going to keep that going for a while, and then we'll set the next goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's time. And again, as long as I see like, okay, I am getting something for it. So, once a video gets to a certain level on Instagram and I see, okay, monetization, you've earned this much on the video. And even if it's like pennies, I feel like it's a win. Like, okay, it's monetizing. It might only be 11 or 20 cents, but like, okay, it's getting something and it's getting some traction. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Like, to hear anybody actually monetize it, because it really feels like, because I have a lot of friends in content creation at this point. It really feels like unless you're Mr. Beast or one of the Paul brothers, it's difficult out there to even get your content to pay for itself. Everybody's in the hole because everybody just enjoys making content, at least people I know do. I mean, we enjoy it enough that we're willing to pay out of our pockets to create this in the hopes that somebody is going to enjoy it.
You put money into your passions, and that's a good thing, I think. I mean, if you truly love doing something, I mean, I'm not much of an athlete, but like, if you're somebody who still plays like competitive sports into your 30s, like it's like in different leagues, like it's an outlet for you of some sort. It might be a physical outlet, it might be a creative outlet. If it's both, that's great. But it gives you something to, because I mean, like we get lost in the shuffle of just everyday life. I mean, I'm a divorced single dad. I have 2 kids, so my kids take up a lot of time. I also work full time. It's you need that thing, that other aspect of life that you can channel some good time and energy in, and you feel good about. Like, okay, I created this. I'm really proud of this. Let's show it off some people. Some are gonna like it, some are not. And that's okay, because that's the beauty of, opinions. You can like it and you can not like it. Just move, if you like it, tell a friend. If you don't like it, tell an enemy.
Right.
But that's why, that's at the end of the day, Bill, that's why we do it. It's to get that creative outlet there, and it fulfills some part of ourselves that just makes us feel good. And if other people get enjoyment out of it, then that's a huge win.
Right. I agree with that. So where do you see yourself taking this in the future? Do you have a specific goal in mind?
Not really. Although, like I said, I mean, the first goal was to be able to get some sort of monetization out of it, and I've done that.
Right.
My ultimate goal would be like just to be able to connect with people over something that you love doing. So like I said, whenever I go to like a gaming convention, you're all there for the same reason. You don't know each other. You're total strangers. But a few years ago, I went to too many games in 2021. This might have been kind of the spark that kind of got me to want to actually start making content, because I got to meet all of my favorite creators there. Like I got to meet James Rolfe. I got to meet Doug Walker. I got to meet Pat Contry. I got to meet Scott the Waz. I got to meet, a few others. And I also made some really great friends there. So that could have been the catalyst that inspired me to kind of do something with it. But the ultimate goal would be to be able to make some sort of a living at what I'm doing here. Like I said, I'm selling the shot glasses now on my Shopify, so that's another source of income. I'd love to be able to go to, a Too Many Games or a PAX East or whatnot and say, okay, one of our special guests is Frankie France, the game mixologist. Come meet him or whatnot. And that'd be really cool to be able to just meet other because again, I'm a fan of a lot of YouTubers and a lot of, content creators, and to be able to connect with those other creators and network with them and have some sort of a friendship or a collaboration with them and just get to meet people who truly enjoy what you do. It'd be cool to be on the other side of the table. I don't know if I'd ever be able to have a panel and talk about stuff, but I mean, that'd be kind of cool too. So,
Yeah.
and again, is that a financial reward? No, but that's not what it's always about. I mean, it's something to aspire to.
Right.
And,
but it's a goal to work towards. And, some of us just need that. Like, we are consistent. We set goals for ourselves and we work towards those goals. We don't just work and see what happens, Right. I guess it depends on a certain mindset, because I even do that on a very small scale. Like, I set goals for myself throughout the day, and I'm like, okay, by 1 o'clock, I'm going to have this many packages shipped out, or, I'm going to record and edit this many videos by this time. I think there's nothing wrong with being goal oriented. It helps.
It's great. And there's times where I just, like I said, I wanted to do some stuff today, but life happens, But there was one day last week I was planning on going to shoot about, 4 or 5 different videos or whatnot. And then I realized I just had one problem after another. It was all technical stuff where I got everything set up. Then all of a sudden my ring light's not working. Why is my ring light not working? Another one was, I got a new phone, and I filmed a lot of stuff on my phone, and now the wireless microphone that I have does not work on this new phone. So I had to figure ways around that to shoot other stuff. Other times I'd have to break out my old phone, record the audio off of that, and now this microphone is way too loud. I feel like, what happened here? I'm trying to futz with that and all this other stuff. So it was a lot of technical stuff that gets in the way of just, it's like John Lennon said, like, life's what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. So
yeah,
you try to that's the, why when when you're filming a movie, it's like, why do you have so much time where you're just standing around? Because like there's certain things you need to get right. You need to get the lighting right. You need to get the sound right. And because there's things you can fix in post-production, but sometimes it's got to be right from the beginning. And again, I have no formal training in, video creation and, software editing and I know nothing of that. I've learned it all by doing. So, when people like compliment me on like how the video is shot or the editing, it's like, it happened by accident. It looked good. And I was like, all right, let's go with that. So
yeah,
I didn't go to, film school or a technology school. I mean, my background is in, I was a personal trainer. My background's in exercise science and bartending. That's my whole and sales. It's my whole life experience. So I didn't go to school for that kind of stuff. So I've all just learned that by doing. But yeah, it's that could take up a lot of your time.
Yeah. Interesting. So let me ask you this. Is there a very specific, like, we all create a lot of different things. And like I talked about before, sometimes we really think something we make is the bee's knees, and we're really proud of that. And people don't really respond to it. Along those lines, is there a favorite piece of content that you've made that you don't think did as well as it should have?
Oh yeah, tons. Like I said earlier, the restaurant combat video. I also made one where I played different characters. Where there's one where it's I talk about espresso martinis instead of espresso martinis.
Right.
Where because again the drink is very popular, but a lot of times people will pronounce the word espresso wrong.
Right.
And I shot a video where there was just one night where I heard it too many times and I just fucking snapped. And so I have this video where it's me playing different characters, ordering an espresso martini. Like, I'll play a blonde woman with, big glasses, and then I'll play like, some grungy guy and I thought that video would do better. But again, there's a lot of stuff with there's drink videos where I'm like, this is going to catch fire. And then it doesn't. So there's a lot that I thought could have done better. But you do your best to learn from it and okay, back to the drawing board and figure out try to see if I can get some ideas as to why. But also I've made a lot of friends where I can send them something like, yeah, here's one of my videos, but like just I don't want you to just watch it. Like tell me what you think. Like, were you engaged? Were you not engaged? What did you like? What did you not like? And I have a small circle that I can do that with, and they'll tell me their honest opinion. Be like, all right, you kind of lost me here,
Right.
or you're not looking. I'll think I'm looking at the camera, but in reality, I'm like looking over here. Like my eyes will just roam. Like that happens sometimes, but you just try to learn, do your best, and learn from your mistakes. And admit that you made the mistakes. That's another big thing.
Yeah.
Be like, I messed this up. What can I learn from it? Or what can I do to make this better?
Right. I agree with that. So, Frankie, let me ask you one more question before we go.
Sure.
I know you're from Massachusetts. This might be a hard question for you, and you might not even be able to answer it.
I'll try.
What's your Waffle House order?
I don't think we have a Waffle House in Massachusetts.
So you've never been to a Waffle House?
I don't think so. No. We had Denny's for a while, but I can't even remember the last time I was at a Denny's. There's a couple IHOPs around, but I've actually never been to a Waffle House, Bill, ever.
You are only the second person I've interviewed and that said they've never been to a Waffle House, and one of them was Canadian.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Waffle House in Massachusetts.
I live in New York. The closest one to me is Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's an hour and a half drive. I go about once a month.
Wow. I mean, for a normal breakfast order, I mean, I'm mostly like a kind of, an omelet with like I'm basically like a meat lover's omelet kind of thing. Love home fries. I'm not the biggest waffle and pancake person. I took my son out for his birthday, and he got these pancakes at this little small place that's in a town nearby, and they were basically, it's like if you took a Cinnabon and it had a baby with a pancake. Is what it tastes like. It was basically a Cinnabon pancake. I took one bite and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get diabetes if I eat any more of this.
Right?
My kids should eat it. So
yeah, but, I've eaten some things like that before.
I gotta get to a Waffle House, man. I've never been, so yeah, I mean, there's a tons of chains in Mass, but yeah, a lot of the Denny's restaurants are gone in Mass, and I still see a smattering of like IHOPs, but alas, no Waffle House.
Yeah. Funny little thing you just mentioned that I used to wait tables a long time ago. I would wait tables at night, and I was a captain at 2 different Emerald's restaurants, and
Wow.
yeah, and one of my favorite selling techniques for dessert were we had this very specific chocolate cake, and it was like a devil's food chocolate cake. And, bread pudding sells itself, especially somewhere like Emerald's, a nice whiskey sauce or a nice rum sauce. It sells itself.
Cool.
But,
now I want one.
yeah, really. Now I'm like, I should get the stuff and make one, but, but the chocolate cake, I would tell them, I'm like, I hope you don't like desserts that are really rich and sweet, because if you like that, you should get the chocolate cake, but you two should share the chocolate cake, because otherwise you're going to leave in a diabetic coma. Like, I'm going to have to call an ambulance. I'm not trying to insult you. I don't think you can handle your own slices every time.
Or two. I remember there was one restaurant I worked in, and I would love we did this in the restaurant that I work in currently, but I sold more desserts in this restaurant than I ever had my entire bartending serving career. And the reason why was that this restaurant did not have a dessert menu.
Yeah,
they had a dessert tray. So
nice.
When your meal was over, you went to get the tray, and the chefs would have a couple trays in the cooler or whatnot to keep everything at a proper temperature.
Right.
And so it's one thing when you try to sell like a double chocolate cake or creme brulee or flan or churros or uh, whatever else, but when you physically see it,
Right.
then it's kind of like, you know what? You said that chocolate cake, it sounds good, but now it's in front of my face. Yeah, now I want. And I literally would be like, it'd be like a baseball player batting like 800 for a season. It was almost too easy. So
yeah,
I loved that. I loved that when it was so easy to sell desserts.
Yeah, well, an interesting thing, working at Emeralds as a captain and selling video games are not that different, because at the end of the day, it's a sales job.
Right.
And they told us, dude, to be a captain at Emeralds, you got to work up from busser to back waiter to captain. And then you have to go sit in a classroom for 40 hours for each job to learn how to do that job properly.
Yeah.
So it's not a willy-nilly thing, right? And they used to tell us all the time, you're a salesman. If we wanted order takers, we wouldn't team the way we do. Mm-hmm. And I found it strange, but also really cool when I started working there, is that when you go to a higher end restaurant like that, people don't know what they want to order before they go in. They want want you to sell it to them. They want you to tell them what they want to eat. And that was always a lot of fun. I would, I was friends with the other captains. We would make bets on who could sell the most of this or that,
Yeah. And that's fun too, to have that competitive, that friendly competition with your teammates.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's when people come to a place the first time. I mean, because again, I work at a place where, probably only 40% of the clientele we have in my establishment are locals. I mean, a lot of them are people that are in town for a week, they're vacationing. I mean, we're a hotel that's right on the water. So, and they want like, okay, what do you have here? Like, okay, this is your menu. What do you like? Like, give me some ideas. And then, with drinks, I sell a little bit differently, because but with food, it's like you got to try everything. But also with food, I'm like, okay, this is what I like. Okay, if you're in New England and you want to get, there's certain New England staples you want to get. Like, you want to get some sort of lobster, you want to get some sort of clam chowder, you want to get some seafood dish that is local and is going to be fresh. So, but that's how you sell it. And again, sales is the same no matter what you do. I mean, it's establish a need, fulfill the need, then close. That's literally what sales is. Doesn't matter if you're selling cars, doesn't matter if you're selling, chocolate cakes. It doesn't matter if you're selling video games or what. The process is still the same. It's, establish the need, fulfill the need, and then close them. If you do the first two steps right, the third step is a breeze. So
yeah, the third step will take care of itself.
Yeah. But with booze, it's fun because, like, with cocktails, I just try to get an idea of, like, okay, all right, so you're not, nothing's jumping out to you on our cocktail list. Okay, I can give you more information. I mean, one of the big reasons people don't agree to being sold is that they need more information.
Right.
So you can sell your cocktail in the spot. Okay, well, what do you normally drink? Like, what's your thing? And if it's a vodka soda kind of person, a lot of times you can persuade them to try something that's very different, because vodka soda people, I'm sorry, you're boring. It's like you're drinking, and only people of our generation don't understand this, Robert, but you're drinking liquid TV static.
Yeah,
that's literally what it is. So if someone likes tequila, I can swear them to, okay, have you tried mezcal? Or if you're a vodka, you're like try this gin drink. And it's not going to be like your grandfather's Beefeater gin. Try this and see if you like it. And fortunately, because of all the cocktails I've created over the last 2 years for social media, I have all this stuff like ready to go. I mean, I have okay, you're used to your Captain Morgan and Coke with a lime. Okay, try this rum drink. Okay, it's going to be different, but expand your horizon. And most cases, a lot of times, you have a good success of hitting, and sometimes you do miss. Like, it's okay, but I'll try something different this time.
Yeah, one of my favorite questions when I go out to eat, especially somewhere I'm not particularly familiar with, is I'll ask the server, when you come in on your day off to eat with your friend, what do you order?
Great question.
Because, hey, that's going to tell me a lot. The staff knows what the best food is. Don't ask them what the special is. Ask them what they order when they go in there to eat.
Yeah, I do the same, and I do the same thing. And I also, especially if it's like, again, it's a hotel that I work in. So it's a restaurant
Right.
side of a hotel that I work in. And so if I have a guest, if guests are staying in the hotel and eating at the bar, they're not going to have 3 meals a day inside the restaurant. That's
Right.
just very unrealistic to think of that. So I've just always asked, kind of like, is there any other restaurants you're interested in town I can kind of tell you more about? Because I've been to almost every place, at least within, the area. And so like, here are my favorites. If this is what you like, I'll sell other places. And a lot of times, because I have friends with a lot of people that are in the local scene, like they'll send people over to me, like, hey, so and so from this restaurant just told me to come here and see you. Like, great. And I return the favor to him or her all the time. So
Absolutely. I remember, working somewhere like New Orleans in the service industry, or working on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the service industry. We would all work at different restaurants and bars, and we would all meet up at the same places after work to eat and drink together.
Yep. There's a local pub that's not far from my restaurant. And it's what you would call an industry bar. So if you go in there at any night, you will see that at least half the patrons in that bar work in other restaurants. You'd be like, okay, that guy's the bartender at this place. She's a server over here. There's a busboy from this place. There's a couple line cooks from this other place. And also you feel kind of safe too, because if a situation arises, then that we're all trained now. Like, there was one day where I brought a friend over there to that same bar, and no incident ever happened, but like he's looking around, and I'm like, literally there was about 15 people in the bar, and I think he was the only one who was not in the industry.
Right.
It was kind of like, okay, cool. So
I remember on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the town of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, they had the Old Town area, and we had one very specific bar like that. Now, don't get me wrong. On Friday and Saturday night, the back room was open, and that place was a club. But they had a restaurant bar out front. So if you went in there Sunday through Thursday night, midnight, 1:00 in the morning, it is everybody that works at every restaurant and bar in town, because they did shift drinks. And so, that was our spot. I remember going there a lot.
Yeah.
And it's always fun, man. Like, hey, were you guys busy tonight? Everybody shop talks, and, I sent some people over to you because they were looking for this.
Yeah.
Well, Frankie, I guess that's about it, bud.
Alrighty.
It's a pleasure getting to know you, man.
Same here, Bill. It was fun.
Where can people find you at?
So you can find me on Instagram. Just search for the name The Gaming Mixologist. You can find me on TikTok under the same name. The Gaming Mixologist website is still under construction, but that will be coming. Hopefully, should be up and running full steam by hopefully midsummer. And like I said, I'm on YouTube as well, and I got to post more there. So that's just youtube.com/@thegamingmixologist. That's all.
I'll make sure to have all your links in the description.
Yeah, man, Bill, appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.